How to become the Tinder Swindler. Or maybe not, but what I am going to share with you in this very short video is the dark arts of influence and persuasion. So you might not want to go around swindling people, but if you learn and really internalize what I'm going to share with you in this video, then you will be able to influence your prospects a lot better, and you'll be able to close more sales, whether it's for your agency, for your coaching business, or for any other business, or if you're trying to win someone over. These principles will be useful for you. Now, I'm going to look at the prism of persuasion and influence through the lens of Dr. Robert Cialdini. Now, if you have never come across him before, where have you been? He is the godfather of the field of study of influence, or one of the godfathers at least. So the 6 principles that we are going to analyze Simon Hayut through are authority, social proof, likability, commitment and consistency, reciprocity, and scarcity. Now, if you are watching this video on Facebook or LinkedIn or even YouTube, I want you to engage, whether you learn something or you don't, or if you want to share any other tips and tricks, drop them in the comments below. And if you are watching this video on YouTube, then make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can get updated for all future content that I put out. Now, onto the topic of the Tinder Swindler. Now, if you look at his background, he has been a con man from his teenage years. However, his father was a very influential rabbi, and what you find in most religion is that the clergy, people who wear the cloth, have an immense amount of influence over their congregation. So for their children to watch how their parents behave, it can nurture them to actually learn the principles of influence without any formal schooling in psychology. Now, in this case, obviously, Simon has gone on to use what he might have learnt from his father, either consciously or subconsciously, in a very dangerous way. So let's start off with the first principle, or well, the principles are not really in order, but let's start off with one: authority. You are on Tinder, you are swiping, you're trying to find someone to match with, someone, you know, for the case of Cecile, was her Prince Charming, because often you need to remember that the people who can be conned have to be primed in a way that they are open to being influenced. Someone who is a cynic and closed off, it is very hard for any salesperson to convince them, even if you are trying to give them a mountain of gold for a bargain, they will think there's a catch. So looking at how Simon put together his Tinder profile, what he did, he took quite a few different pictures of him traveling across the world, of him eating at fancy restaurants on a yacht, and he also took on the surname of Leviev. So he pretended to be the son of this Israeli billionaire, the king of diamonds, Lev Leviev. So he changed his surname from Hayut to Leviev. He put that on social media. He linked his Tinder profile to his Instagram profile, where again, once you enter his sales funnel, which is his Tinder profile, you know, you can get immersed into this whole world where you can see more extravagant photos on Instagram. And he also put up a fake picture of him next to Lev Leviev, which he obviously photoshopped himself into. So you've got the authority factor there, you've got the social proof factor there. And social proof is often so important in selling, which is why you see people clamoring to take pictures with Sir Richard Branson and Grant Cardone to put on their profile so that it makes them look like they are someone who they're not. But, you know, I mean, sometimes a lot of these people do have, do hold their own weight. But we know from all of the different sales material that you might have seen online over the years, you know, they say if you want to be perceived as someone who's a guru or an authority, share a platform with someone, and literally taking a picture next to someone who is of any note, or someone who might be famous, is the easiest way to kind of plant the seed that, hey, this person is vouching for me. So it starts off with the Tinder profile. You are entering his sales funnel by swiping to match with him. And then what happens is he interacts with you immediately he starts showing some interest. So he's playing on the likability factor by engaging with you, by saying he'd like to meet you, complimenting you, being quite generous with his words, and he invites you over to his hotel. So he has taken control of the conversation, as we like to call it in sales. If you want to close someone, you need to take control of the conversation. So you turn up at his hotel and you're waiting in the lobby. Again, more social proof. You're walking into one of the poshest hotels in London. You're going through this amazing lobby and you're taking the seat to enter the court of the king or the prince, and he is coming down on his elevator. So by you already agreeing to meet him at a place of his choosing, you have kind of taken the first steps into submission. Rather than meeting at a neutral ground for coffee, you have entered his fantasy world. So he comes down, you greet each other, you start conversating, and one of the things that you hear about this guy is he's full of charm, he's very charismatic. Now, if you read any books on charisma, charisma can be faked very easily if you follow, again, a couple of other principles, which is a topic for another video. And he asks a lot of questions. He really wants to know about his target, if you like. But here's the thing, they say the great conversationalists, or the greatest conversationalists, are those who actually ask questions and listen. They talk 20% of the time and let other people speak 80% of the time. And this is exactly what he is doing here. He's demonstrating his empathy, how he cares. He's showing a huge amount of emotional intelligence, which a lot of men lack these days. So, okay, now he obviously needs to progress you to the next step of his funnel. So he wants to present more social proof. What does he do? He invites you to join him the first day that you've met him on a trip, jump on his private jet, and they go somewhere in Europe, and you say yes. So again, you're taking another micro step towards him. The principle of commitment and consistency says that if we can get you to take a small step, asking you to take the next step is a lot easier until we get you to take a bigger step. So here the micro commitment first is show up at my hotel, fine, come with me, let's go on the plane, and you agree to that. So the more you agree with someone, it becomes a lot more difficult for you to say no to a future request. Most people struggle to say no, but here you have someone who believes in Beauty and the Beast and has read the whole script and memorized the script, and they are waiting for Prince Charming. So because they're already waiting, they have opened themselves up to manipulation to a certain degree. Not everyone can be manipulated in the same way, and we see that with his second mark, Priscilla or Pernilia or whatever her name was. Anyhow, you agree to go on this private jet. So again, that's more social proof. You've seen the pictures of the private jet, but you've not actually seen it yourself. So you need to cement your belief that this guy is the Prince of Diamonds. So you agree to jump on the jet with him. On the way to the jet, he puts you, again, quite in a calculating way, in a car with his ex and his child. And his ex is talking about how he's a great guy and he's a great father and he takes care of you. So again, providing you that social proof that this guy is a safe bet, that even if things don't work out, he'll look after me, he'll take care of me, he won't just kind of use and abuse and discard of me like a lot of other playboy billionaires. So anyhow, you got on the plane, you're wowed by it, you're taking photos and videos, you're sending it to everyone in WhatsApp, you're putting it on your own Instagram. You have entered this fantasy world, so you are truly mesmerized. So anyhow, they go off to Europe for a day. They're going out, clubbing, partying, visiting fancy restaurants. And then comes the real test to see if he has actually got you into his net. On the way back to their room in the hotel, obviously the lift doors close. If you have watched the program, he puts her arm around her and kind of goes in for the kiss. So this is the first real test on his part to see if he has kind of got you under his control. And the first mark, Cecilia or whatever her name is, she falls into the clench, and then, you know, by the end of the night, he is entering her funnel. So there you go. Act 1 is complete. And then what happens? They come back to London. He goes off. He's away from you. They say absence makes the heart go fonder. So that's scarcity there. You know that you're probably going to only marry one person. So it's hard enough as it is. The supply is limited. You've found a good catch. You are head over heels for him. And he's all over the world. He's on business and whatnot. So then he's communicating with you through WhatsApp and whatnot. Again, keeping the rapport going, keeping the likability going, giving you some hope that you can actually be with Prince Charming one day and have a fairy tale wedding and get married. To the point he says, go out and find an apartment. And she goes off looking for an apartment in one of the most exclusive areas in London and finds a place that is up for £15,000 a month. And here's the thing, the more action she is taking towards him, she is showing more commitment and consistency to him, to following his instructions. Okay? And then they meet again. He talks about his business links and how he's always under threat and that kind of stuff. People are after him. Now, anyone who is sane and logical at that point would think this guy's dodgy, he's linked with the mafia or something, and walk away. But because you're so mesmerized, you literally overlook any potential criminal activity on his part, and you kind of feel you're all in this together. Now it's time to ask for money. And this is literally a month later. So you have been influenced, you have been persuaded, you have been doing things together. And there's also the principle of reciprocity. Someone's been treating you really nice. They've been sending flowers to you. So you feel obligated to do something back, which is why the Hare Krishna, every time you see them on the streets, they're trying to give you a flower before they ask you for a donation, whatever the amount might be, because you'd feel obligated to give something back because you took the flower. And you see some kind of street sellers doing the same thing across the world. They're trying to give you a bracelet or put something on your children's head and hair because you feel obligated to pay them. So when he says he's in trouble and, you know, Peter is down, you know, you are really concerned because you are going to build a life with this man. So he tells you that his bank accounts have been frozen and he can't access his finances. So he asks you again to make a micro commitment, and this is a financial one. Do you have access to a credit card? Of course, a credit card is not your money. I'll help you out. I'll buy something for you, whether it's flight tickets or something, and then you can pay me back within the 28 days before the bill comes along. So she goes out, gets a credit card, and then he fraudulently creates a payslip to get an unlimited amount and to ensure that the card doesn't consistently get blocked. And here's the thing, she goes along with the fraud of producing a fake payslip that shows that she's earning $94,000 a month. And this is what happens with people. Their logical brain, the rational brain often gets suspended, and it doesn't matter because the first mug or the first victim, see however you like, you know, is someone who is highly intelligent, who is educated, who works in a very good job. So it's not only the uneducated who fall prey to these traps and scams. Often you find that the people who lose out the most are some of the most intelligent people in the room. So you've got out the credit card, and now he's asking for you to increase the limit to keep on clearing the amount. So you're taking out quick payday loans. You know this guy's the son of a billionaire. He can write you a check, and he is actually sending you a screenshot or a statement that says he's wired you the money. So you believe that. You believe $250,000 is hitting your account. So you keep on taking those payday loans, and then when he asks for bring me cash $25,000, you do not hesitate to take the cash over to him, hoping that the transfer is going to come through, that you're going to be fine at the end of this. So this is how you go from someone being a total stranger to handing you $100,000 plus in a matter of weeks. It's absolutely bonkers when you think about it objectively. But this is how the shady conmen, the snake oil salesman, and those kind of romantic scammers from Nigeria get people. They literally prey on your vulnerabilities, and they use the dark arts of persuasion and influence. Now, if you look at the second victim here, he did try to make the move on her as well, but she wasn't feeling him romantically. So what does he do? He takes her on this huge holiday of across the whole summer, and is clearly spending thousands and thousands, maybe tens of thousands of dollars on her that he has swindled from the first victim here. And at the end of it, when he does ask for money, you feel obligated. Again, the law of reciprocity. This billionaire has spent tens of thousands, if not a couple of $1,000s on me across the whole summer, given me the time of my life. And now he is stuck. So he's asking for 30,000 to begin with. So you have that saving. You don't even need to kind of take out a loan. So you hand that over to him, and then he asks for another 10,000. And then he sends you this fake receipt of a wire transfer for $100,000. And again, you are kind of like, wow, this is crazy. This is so generous. And you think you're going to go off and collect his watch when the check doesn't clear. Anyhow, we're not going to go into too much of the topic of what happens on the TV series, but hopefully you can understand here how the principles of influence can be used to actually attract people to your universe, how to nurture them, and how to turn them into clients. The laws again: authority, likability, social proof, reciprocity, commitment and consistency, and scarcity. If you've got some value out of this video, or if you'd like to add anything, leave a comment below. But I hope this has opened your eyes in how marketers across the board are using these principles to influence you. And they don't need to use all 6 to get you over the line. Often the feeling of obligation is enough. A lot of charities back in the days, and I believe they still do this in the US, they'd send out letters and they'd put 2 cents on it. A coin, you know, might be 2 cents, might be something else. But in the UK, it was 2 pence, and then they'd talk to you about how much it's cost them to reach out to you and what they're looking for you to do. And because they've sent you a small amount, you feel obligated to at least send something back, whether it's the coin or something slightly higher than that. And you see this as well in the online marketing world, where you have I don't know how effective it is these days, because everyone does it, but giving away free lead magnets, getting people to opt in. Again, it's trying to give the value, but also building some sort of reciprocity, especially if your lead magnet has the same amount of value as some of the mid-ticket or high-ticket courses out there. Anyhow, I hope you've enjoyed this quick video. Let me know your thoughts. And again, if you are in the agency space and you're not in our Facebook group, the SMMA Mastermind, what are you doing? Go and join 3,000 other like-minded individuals who are on this journey to building a 6-figure agency. This is Abul Hussain signing out.